morning. It's your boy Ben Tinsley from Afro Franco. And I just want to take a minute to walk through this unit that I just put out. I'm super excited about it. It's called Qui Veut Jouer. And it's just this unit that I put together about games. And I've been playing with it forever, and I finally was able to get all the stuff together and organize it in a way that was shareable. So Qui Veut Jouer is just like an exploration of games in the Francophone world, specifically dealing with West Africa and then Madagascar. And so it's a CI thematic unit. It's a collection, this PDF file is a collection of scripts and authentic sources, and there's assessment tools and all that. That's all housed within this PDF file. So it's relatively straightforward. If you take a look here, some of these, you have links that will take you to a unit plan. It just gets you all these critical pieces of information about essential questions and where we're going, the outcomes, so can-do statements and all that, from which you can then assess, against which you can assess students at the end of the unit to see to what extent can you identify the topic and related information in the short story that is included in here, right? We have the different modes, including the intercultural, investigate, and interact. Here's some supporting structures that you can front load with them so that you can better foster these discussions. Some priority vocabulary, and here's just the unit structure. So if you take a look at it, all of my units are designed in a similar way, where you can intro the unit. There's essential question, performance range, can-do statements. I talk about the tableau SVA, which is a KWL chart, just tapping into their schema, right? Tapping into what do they already know about this sort of thing. And then importantly, we always start from home. So you're going to do a survey. You can talk about asking the kids, mining them for input about what are some popular games here? What are games that they like? I also like to, at this point, we can co-create, depending on the level of your students, you can co-create a definition of what is a game. So just that process that later on when we start exploring different things, does it fit our definition? Does our definition need to evolve to better encompass the different things that we come up with? So, and there's a story that comes along with that. You can do a map talk of home as well that helps establish meaning in that language about what is a state, what is a city, what's near, what's far, what's on the coast, what's all that. And so always starting from home. And then we explore two different locations. So location 2 really, in this case in the unit, is La Côte d'Ivoire. So in Côte d'Ivoire, we do a map talk. There's a map talk script that's included in there, cultural practice or product talk, and quizzes that go along with that, authentic sources that you can do along with your students to just help foster their sense of, their interpretive proficiency and their confidence when they see that they're able to understand main idea and supporting details of an authentic source. And then we have a little Google Earth excursion with a script and a quiz that goes along with that. So just putting into practice some high frequency verbs and all that, and having the context of the game and the area that we studied. So we do the same thing here with location 3, which in this unit happens to be Madagascar. In Madagascar, we have a map talk, we have the CPP, the cultural practice or product talk, authentic source, quizzes, and all that. And everything's linked again in that PDF file. So at the end, we have those are formative tasks and activities, and here we have summative activities and assessments. So there's a story that you can use just as your summative task, that to what extent are they able to, going back to their can-do statement, to what extent are they able to engage in this story, to retell it, to answer comprehension questions about it, and all that. And there's a quiz that comes along with that. The interpersonal task that comes along with the summative story, again, is just the opportunity to circle the story with each individual student. And their interpersonal proficiency depends on what the target range is. So some students, when you circle with them individually, might just be able to answer in single words. But as we go up in proficiency, maybe they can tell you sentences and series of connected sentences about the story. Maybe even they can start answering hypothetical questions. What would have happened if this had happened? So it all depends. It's customizable, and you can tailor it to whatever the target proficiency level is of your class. And then there's just a rubric that goes along with that. Presentational task, again, with a summative story. What the story is, can they retell it? And I like to give my students the opportunity to do rewrites or retells, or they can, like, however they want to demonstrate that particular competency. They have some choice when it comes to that. In addition to that, though, is a more traditional integrated performance assessment, or an IPA. So here, there's an authentic source about a third type of game from a third place in the Afro-Franco world. And so there's an interpretive task that comes with that. So questions, comprehension questions that are designed to assess their comprehension, but also to foster their comprehension. Because what we know about integrated performance assessments is that we want them to use what they get from that task to then be able to integrate it into the interpersonal piece and into the presentational piece. So there's a worksheet that's linked there too for the interpersonal piece, wherein they will compare and contrast this new game with some of the other games that they've studied and learned how to describe and all of that. And then finally, there's this presentational task again, where they're going to take their findings from that comparative analysis in the interpersonal phase and then present it so they can write it out. And there's rubrics and all that. So that's the unit plan. And then here it just breaks it down a little bit more closely. So here's the resources that you have with home and map talks. You can do different surveys, some suggested things, some scripts that are all linked there, and quizzes that are ready-made for you. Same thing for La Côte d'Ivoire is going to be location 2. And we have map talk scripts and all that. We talk about the game Awale and some authentic sources that come with that, quizzes and keys. If we come back, we have the same thing for Madagascar. And here's the link to all of the summative assessments and activities. So again, all of my units are designed with that idea in mind, that we always start from home, and then we explore 2 other places in the cultural practices and products of Black and brown people from 2 other places. So that even when we're building our story, we can have 3 locations just sort of organically embedded into our story. So that's the unit. It is available on my website, afrofranco.com. It's also available on the Teachers Pay Teachers thing. I think I'm going to leak out one of the map talks that maybe just be helpful for those of you who do end up using this unit, or if you just want to use a map talk about La Côte d'Ivoire. So I may leak that out as well. But yeah, thank you so much for your support and for listening and for supporting in all the ways that you do, and wishing everybody the best of luck as you move forward. Thanks again. Holler at me.